Welcome back to Hannity. Another day, another scandal to report about Hillary Clinton. Now, according to the liberal New York Times, during her tenure as Secretary of State, Hillary used a second private email address. And from this account, Clinton allegedly circulated multiple emails from this man, longtime Clinton political hack Sidney Vicious Blumenthal, to senior State Department officials. And with all these scandals now popping up around Democratic presidential candidate, well, Ed Henry asked Ms. Clinton during a campaign event in Iowa if she'd finally take a question from the press. Watch this.
Yeah, just wait. Yeah, maybe when I finish talking to the people here. How's that? I might. I'll have to ponder it, but I will put it on my list for due consideration.
Little testy. Something might have clicked there, because a few minutes later, Hillary did address the new report about her correspondence with Sid Vicious. And for just a short time, of course. Watch this.
I have many old friends, and I always think that it's important when you get into politics to have friends you had before you were in politics and to understand what's on their minds. And he's been a friend of mine for a long time. He sent me unsolicited emails, which I passed on in some instances. And I see that that's just part of the give and take.
Here now with reaction is the co-author of the brand new book, Climate Change, The Facts. Mark Steyn is with us. Now, just a month ago, let's see, Clinton's office issued a statement claiming that she only used one email address, Mark, and when she served as Secretary of State. And by the way, it wasn't the one that she corresponded with Sid Vicious with. And her lawyer denied the same thing, too. So apparently she used more than one email address.
Yeah, the lawyer apparently gave an incorrect answer to the United States Congress on this matter. Look, you've got Jeff Foxworthy on the show tonight, Sean. Hillary is playing a brand new game show. Are you dumber than a bunch of rocks? Because that's basically what the position she's taking with the American electorate. She's engaging in essentially a sort of a simulacrum, a miming of an election campaign. She turned down Ed Henry because she supposedly wants to take the people's questions. They're in fact carefully vetted stooges. She has her colleague from the Clinton Foundation, George Stuff His Pants with Cash, conduct an utterly fraudulent interview with the author of the book about her. She is engaging in the equivalent of Beyonce miming lip-syncing to the national anthem at Obama's inaugural a couple of years ago. And at some point, the press and the American people have to get serious about treating her the way they do any other candidate.
But she doesn't allow them access.
This is like Eva Peron in a banana republic.
But she doesn't allow them access, Mark, and that is how she's able to navigate through these waters. At some point, I would imagine she's going to have to answer it, but she so far is the strategy they've adopted is don't talk to the press, don't talk to anybody. We'll march in those people that are in our camp and say that they're regular people. And so far she's gotten away with it. Why would they change?
Yeah, and it's working for her. And when she does sit down and do the big interview, it will be with some favourable type. Might even be with George Stephanopoulos, and he'll ask her tough questions like, "Oh, do you think Republican men have a problem dealing with you as a strong woman?" You know, this is a joke, and it is unbecoming. I'm happy to see. I would love Elizabeth Warren to run, not because she's a socialist lunatic to my taste, but she comes by her socialism honestly. Just as they've had female prime ministers across the world now, from Canada to New Zealand, and they've come by their socialism honestly. And and what is at issue here is the corruption and entitlement. And at some point, we have a ridiculous situation where the Clinton Foundation has no other purpose. If you give $1 million to to the Clinton Foundation because you're worried, like Chelsea Clinton says, about diarrhea in Africa. $60,000 of it goes to diarrhea in Africa, and $940,000 of it gets sluiced off en route to keep the big Clinton machine running. She's had $30 million in speeches, and this is a woman. She's not a sparkling performer
$25 million.
Like you were in Chicago when we were at some event a year or two back, Sean. She's not a sparkling performer like you. It's like putting a speak your weight machine on stage. Nobody is paying for the quality of her speeches. They're buying access and they're buying influence.
Let's go to the tense exchange over releasing the emails, and this is what she said today.
I have said repeatedly, I want those emails out. Nobody has a bigger interest in getting them released than I do. I respect the State Department. They have their process that they do for everybody, not just for me. But anything that they might do to expedite that process, I heartily support. You know, I want the American people to learn as much as we can about the work that I did with our diplomats and our development experts. I have said publicly, I'm repeating it here in front of all of you today, I want them out as soon as they can get out.
But will you demand it? Will you demand it?
Well, they're not mine. They belong to the State Department.
Mark, she doesn't want the emails out. That's why she purposefully erased them, the ones she wanted to.
Right.
That's why she wiped her server clean. We learned today from documents from the Department of Defense and State Department that she knew the day after exactly who was responsible for Benghazi. It was not spontaneous. It was planned 10 days in advance.
Right.
And it had nothing to do with the YouTube video. This is a lie, but she's getting away with it,
Yes.
so it seems.
And and we talked about this actually a couple of months ago, Sean, this exact issue. And I said to you, it's like you telling the IRS, no, sorry, I don't keep any financial records, but you can ask Fox News and you can ask my radio guys and you can ask these other fellas if they sent me any checks in the last year. And that's what they have to do here because she doesn't have any email records.
All right,
they have to piece them together from all the other people.
Well,
and it's
we might have
ridiculous.
hope.
It's ridiculous.
Because Hugh Hewitt asked former CIA Director Mike Morrell whether or not he thinks that her system was hacked. Maybe we'll be able to get it from Vladimir Putin or the Chinese. Here's how that exchange went.
As a professional matter, do you believe that at least one or perhaps many foreign intelligence services have everything that went to and from that server?
So I think that foreign intelligence services, the good ones, have everything on any unclassified network that the government uses, whether it's a private server or a public one.
So what does that mean? The Chinese may have this all backed up for us, or maybe Putin might have it all backed up? Does that mean if she becomes president, she is potentially subject to blackmail because the erased emails they have in their possession that might, in fact, be damning to her and cause a lot of legal problems for her?
No, I would absolutely bet, Sean, that the Russians have them, the Chinese have them. If we're lucky, a couple of reasonably friendly intelligence services might have them as well, like the French and the British. But it might even be that ISIS, who actually are quite sophisticated when it comes to the internet, have them. But I think there's absolutely no doubt that if you wanted to get them from the Chinese could cough up a full set of Hillary Clinton emails well before the State Department's releasing them a day before the New Hampshire primary or something. They're insulting the people's representatives in Congress, Sean.
Well said. Mark Steyn, great to see you. Thank you, sir.